Thank you so much, Mr. Narendra Karmakarji, Madan Oberoi, Mr. Zalme Khalilzadji, and the Joint Secretary, Moderator Santosh Jhaji, and learned members present on this evening. Actually, the subject on which we're going to discuss is so elaborate, and it's a very wide subject to really think about and to give your own opinion. And if I start speaking about the notes which I have, what the Ministry of Home Affairs has been doing, and it will become too academic, and I don't want to really make it into a reporting kind of a speech of what Government of India and Home Ministry is doing. But I would rather point out some of the issues, how we look at it, and quickly to understand that how Government of India is trying to face the challenges with regards to terrorism and cybersecurity. You must be realizing now that the incidents which the world is witnessing, especially in last decade, I personally feel that more and more voices coming around the world are sounding like the Indian voices. What we used to say a few decades back about the threat of terrorism and the kind of response we used to get from our counterparts, we were never satisfied purely because we felt that our concerns were never understood. And sometimes we also say that to understand the real issue, you must feel it. Merely knowing the subject or knowing the incident is not enough. You must be able to feel it. And in a clear term, I should say that you must be inflicted with the pain to really understand the subject and to really understand the real threat terrorism poses. Now, wherever we go, we have understanding with various countries at multilateral level, at bilateral level. Counter-terrorism or sharing of intelligence becomes one of the very integral part of our understanding with any of our friendly countries. It has become so integral to how we look at the world. And when we talk about terrorism, the cyber security has become so much integral to understanding and to deal with terrorism. Now, presently, we are facing with these ISIS challenges. And many people put questions to the Home Ministry that, how are you dealing with this threat? How much India is really facing the threat of ISIS? And India being a large Muslim populated country, how should we handle the situation? And when we sit and analyze in the ministry and with various intelligence agencies, I feel that there's nothing to worry about, because Indian people have a strong character which is developed because of our ethical behavior. Just to make a point, when some of the youths have left India to join ISIS in Syria, Levant, those areas, it is the parents and it is the Muslim society as large. They have been the instrumental in persuading them back to the mainstream. That means the Indian society has a strong feeling that violence has no space in our country. This is despite the numerous challenges we are facing, because if you see the geopolitical location of India, then India is in a very, very critical location. Then our borders are very porous. It's not very easy. As a minister looking after the border management, I always feel how to secure our border. It's very difficult. The fact is that we cannot have any kind of a border physical barrier or a fencing with Nepal. We do not have with Bhutan. We can't have with Myanmar. The only two countries we are having is with Bangladesh and Pakistan. That too, we know we have huge challenges. And with China, we cannot have border. So as a country, as porous as our border is, it's difficult to really comprehend how we are managing. But because of the character of the Indian society, we feel secured. And we never, India abhors categorizing religion and terrorism together. We never do that. That is why when we are moving in terms of taking steps for counter-radicalization or for de-radicalization process, it is the senior citizens of the society. They come and they are the people who take much active role. And we have been very successful. Now to understand the cybersecurity, just to sound a little bit academic, now according to the Information Technology Act, cybersecurity means protecting information, equipment, devices, computer resource, communication device, and information stored therein from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, disruption, modification, or destruction. So this is a very precise definition we have in our statute book. But if you see the challenges, today as a minister, I can, without any hesitation, share with you that sometimes I become and I feel helpless because we don't have boundary. The crimes are committed. Our youths are being influenced. Our security areas are being breached. But because of the nature of the cyber crime, you can't do anything. There are limitations and there are restrictions. And I feel that our senior security officers, they try to handle the situation as professionally possible as they want to, but we have limitation. That is why we are talking about collaboration, we are talking about working together. Every independent country on this planet must get together. Otherwise, how you control the cyberspace? It's not merely the question of technology, but it's much beyond. And when I was thinking of speaking here, initially I thought I should make a very technical speech, I should come with a very prepared speech, but with 10 minutes in hand, I thought rather I should just make very informal remarks and try to respond. If we are put forward with some questions, I should appropriately respond to your queries. But just to let you know a few of the important steps which is there in our mind and what we are doing in the government of India. We definitely have a policy with regards to our cybersecurity. We have already developed our national cybersecurity policy, which is already in place. And right now, we are considering the framework for enhancing our cybersecurity of Indian cyberspaces. And we have developed a multi-layered response, very in-depth. So we have categorized in 3 different compartments. The first is the NTRO, which would be responsible for the protection of identified critical information infrastructure. It will be basically those infrastructure which is with the government. And then secondly will be with the Ministry of Defense. So in the Ministry of Defense, primarily DRDO and the Defense Service, our MOS External Affairs himself was former Army Chief. So Army, our defense establishment, they have a very robust security system in place. They will be responsible for all defense-related cyber threats, vulnerability, detection and mitigation process. And the third is, we have kept it with the Department of Information Technology. They would be responsible for non-critical infrastructure and other critical information infrastructure which is not there with the NTRO. So that will be with the Ministry and the Department of Information Technology. So we have developed this structure, and the Home Ministry as a nodal ministry, we would be coordinating, we would be making efforts for better coordination between all different spheres. And besides that, we have, India has already developed our strategies. And this strategy will have so many agencies together, and Home Ministry again will be the nodal ministry, so that every ministry or every organization in the government, or to some extent with the private entities also, we can have some kind of a seamless coordination. We can come together and make everything very robust so that we can respond to the call of the time. And besides that, I would like to share with you this information about our data system. Now we are very much aware that the success story will depend on how much we share intelligence information with each organization. We have MAC at the national level, then we have a SMAC at the state level. So all our central intelligence agencies along with the state agencies, and we do have intelligence branches of various organizations also, we need to have a seamless body. So NetGrid formula came, which most of you must be aware, and we also do get certain criticism also that we are not really taking forward the NetGrid as it was envisaged in the beginning of when it was conceived. I do admit that we should have progressed much faster. I also admit that we need to put in more resources also. Because no matter how robust each system or each body is, unless we connect them with each other for a seamless sharing of informations and for a proper coordination, we will never succeed. Because the passing and sharing of information is so critical to secure all the system in place. Otherwise, it will fail. And we have learned a lot of lessons also. No need to mention about the incidents and those unfortunate occasions where we had to really look back at those fault lines. Even the recent Pathankot incident, where there were huge discussion in the intellectual level also, that how this, despite having a proper intelligence inputs, in fact, very precise intelligence inputs which were there, still the incident took place. So there are certain things we do admit that we need to really get up and pull up our socks. But at the same time, you all know that it is such an area that every incident is different from the earlier one. We need to really learn lessons from each incident. And as this conference is being organized by the Gateway, our of India Dialogue, initiated by the Ministry of External Affairs. I feel we have a very strong international presence here. And it is a very appreciable job which the Ministry of External Affairs have done, and of course, partnering with our the Gateway group. I'm sure if I'm pronouncing the name right. And when I was told that this particular conference is going to have a very, very robust discussion, it may be a small gathering, but it will be getting together of the brains, which will be very useful in understanding the subject. So I ensure that I should come and spend some time with you. So as I said in the beginning, I do not intend to really make a very professional and very structured delivery of speech. So I thought I should just come and make few of remarks, then rather I should respond to the questions or the queries if you have any at the end of the discussion. And this Mumbai is really the gateway for many purposes, for many reasons. And to have this very important dialogue here in Mumbai is very meaningful also. And I'm happy that I could come here and spend some time with you. And I would rather listen more. I put myself in a listening mode rather than speaking out and talking much more than what I have just made a few of my remarks. And I once again thank the organizers for inviting me to speak here. Thank you so much.